This presentation is part of a series to make you aware of the emergencies that could affect your installation or local community and the steps you can take to be ready. Floods are one of the most common hazards in the world. However, not all floods are alike. Some can develop slowly, while others, such as flash floods, can develop in just a few minutes. Flash floods can occur even without visible signs of rain. Floods can be small and only affect your neighborhood, or very large, affecting entire river basins in multiple states. Just because your installation hasn't experienced a flood in the past doesn't mean it won't in the future. Anywhere it rains, it can flood. Flood risk isn't just based on history, it's also based on a number of factors, including rainfall, topography, flood control measures, river flow, and tidal surge data, and even changes to new construction or land development. A flood is generally a temporary condition when an overflow of water submerges land. It can be caused by extended periods of rain, warming trends following a heavy snow, hurricanes, or failure of levees and dams. Particularly at risk are communities in low-lying areas, coastal areas, or downstream from large bodies of water. Even a very small stream or dry creek bed can overflow and create flooding. There are steps you can take to stay safe during flood conditions. First, you should familiarize yourself with the types of watches and warnings for floods and flash floods. Watches are issued when conditions exist that could cause flooding or a flash flood. You should be prepared to move to higher ground and tune into NOAA weather radio, local radio, or television for more information. Warnings are issued when flooding or flash flooding is occurring, and you should evacuate if instructed to do so. In the case of a flash flood, move to higher ground immediately. In addition to having flood insurance, knowing these basic preparedness actions will help you prepare for a flood. Stay tuned to the radio or television for updates about flood conditions. Be aware of nearby bodies of water, drainage areas, or other areas known to flood suddenly. Flash floods can occur in these areas with or without typical warnings like heavy rain. If your home is prone to flooding, move your furnace, water heater, and electric panel to higher areas to avoid potential contact with flood water. You should also avoid building your home in a known floodplain. If you do, be sure to elevate and reinforce your home. The installation of check valves in sewer traps will prevent floodwater from backing up into home drains. Levees, berms, and flood walls can be constructed to help stop floodwater from entering buildings. And if your home has a basement, the application of waterproofing compounds to the walls will prevent water seeping in. Having an established emergency supply kit and emergency plan will also help you be prepared. Water is one of the most important items in your kit. Your kit needs to have at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for at least 3 to 5 days. Don't forget about your pets. You can survive for 8 weeks without food, but only 3 to 5 days without water. Also, have a radio available so you can tune into local news broadcasts and gather important information. Remember to have extra batteries too. Make sure your first aid kit is sufficiently stocked to handle any medical emergency you may encounter. Some of these items can also be found in your home. Include special needs items such as prescription medications, eyeglasses, contact lens solution, or hearing aid batteries. A good resource for flood information is the Air Force's Be Ready mobile app. It has an emergency supply kit listing, important links, and contact information. It's an extremely useful tool to have on your mobile device. Try to avoid driving during flooding conditions, but if you must, do not attempt to drive through a flooded road. The depth of water is not always obvious, and the road itself may be washed out by the water. Driving on a flooded road could leave you stranded or trapped inside your vehicle. If barricades are set up to prevent access to roads, do not drive around them. They are there for your protection. Also, avoid any shortcuts that deviate from designated evacuation routes. They may have been blocked or flooded themselves. If driving at night, your ability to recognize the dangers of flooding is much harder, so only travel during the day if you have to. After the floodwaters have receded, be careful of areas that may be damaged or unstable. Watch for downed electrical lines, weakened roads, and bridges. Also use caution when entering buildings as their foundations may have become weakened. It's best to avoid all contact with floodwater if possible. The water may be contaminated with oil, gasoline, or even raw sewage. Use gloves to touch things if available and wash your hands if they get wet. When returning to your home after a flood, any food that's come in contact with floodwater should be discarded since it may have become contaminated with sewage or other chemicals. You'll need to watch out for animals that may have used your home to escape the floodwaters, especially poisonous snakes. Be sure to listen to reports about your community's water supply and whether or not it's been tested and safe to drink. You should also clean and disinfect everything. The leftover silt and mud can contain sewage and chemicals that pose health risks. If you have a septic tank, cesspool, or leaching system, be sure to service them as soon as possible. Damaged sewage systems are serious health hazards. Also report any property damage to your insurance agent immediately. Hopefully this information has helped you better prepare for what to do before, during, and after a flood. For more information, please take the time to visit your installation's Office of Emergency Management, the Be Ready website, download the Be Ready mobile app, or pick up an Air Force Emergency Preparedness Guide. This has been Corey DeBrinier reporting for the Emergency Management Division of the Air Force Civil Engineer Center. Stay safe and be ready.